how they got here. We're going to go to game one in what has been a series of runs. After trailing at halftime by 8 points, the Heat went on a 39-14 run in the third quarter to take control of the game, powered by Jimmy Butler's 41 points, including his steals on back-to-back possessions. The Heat would win game one 118-107. We're going to move on to game two. Marcus Smart, who missed game one, marked his return to the series in spectacular fashion, making highlight after highlight after highlight. It just went on and on and on. Smart totaled 24 points, 12 assists on the night, and Celtics win game two 127-102. Game three, Jimmy Butler would leave the game at half, and the Celtics roared back. Late fourth quarter, Jaylen Brown hits a three to make it a 1-point game, 40 points for Brown. Following Heat possession, Max Strus answers right back with a three of his own. Shot clock winding down. Bam Adebayo puts up a prayer, gets it a go. Heat hang on to win 109-103. Game four, Celtics defense dominated in this one as they held the entire Heat starting unit to a total of 18 points. Jayson Tatum, meanwhile, had 31 in the game. Boston led from start to finish, including leading by 32 at one point. Celtics win game four 102-82. All right, we got game five. Celtics took control of the series by taking game five in Miami. Tatum and Brown took over in the second half of the game, sparking a 24-2 run, capping the game off with a thunderous dunk by Brown. Celtics win game five and head to game six with a chance to close out the series. But not so fast. Game six, Jimmy Butler pulled out a performance for the ages with 47 points. Miami needed every point with Boston coming back. Late in the game, Butler hit a fadeaway jumper in the corner to beat the shot clock. Kyle Lowry had words on the Butler performance.
How would you describe Jimmy's game?
Incredible. My bad. Listen, don't find me NBA. That was by mistake. That was really by mistake.
Heat win game six to avoid elimination. And for more, we are going to be joined now by NBA analyst Cory Alexander. Cory, we know Jimmy Butler and Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to be huge factors, but starting with Boston, who else needs to have an impact performance in game seven?
Victoria, it has to be Marcus Smart. And you go back and you look at his game two numbers after missing game one, 24 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds. Marcus Smart was all over the place. He was a menace defensively. He did everything the Celtics needed him to do in a big win on the road in Miami. And Marcus Smart has to be more of a facilitator. He's got to be more of a guy who gets everything going for the Celtics on both ends of the floor. I think he does that in game seven. On the other side, it's got to be Bam Adebayo for the Heat. In game three, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists for Bam. He was spectacular in Boston. He's got to bring that same energy, that same aggressiveness onto his home court in a game seven to give his team an opportunity to move on to the NBA Finals.
Now, Cory, who do you have advancing to take on the Warriors in the NBA Finals?
Well, when you think about this, of course, you get the Warriors as a reward for winning the Eastern Conference Finals, but also there's a Larry Bird Eastern Conference Finals MVP trophy at stake. And of course, you would want that to go to a Celtic, right? Well, Larry Bird averaged 27 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, 7 assists per game in his game sevens. And you're going to need to see that type of effort from Jayson Tatum tonight in a big-time game seven. I believe Jayson Tatum gets it done, and the Celtics move on to face the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals this year. And Jayson Tatum takes home the inaugural Larry Bird Eastern Conference Most Valuable
You heard
Player.
it. You heard it from Cory Alexander, the Celtics. Okay. Well, yeah, this is going to be the second Eastern Conference Final Game 7 between these two. A decade ago, the Heat won Game 7 in Miami. Thank you, Cory. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7:30 Eastern. Boston Celtics, this series has been a roller coaster ride with each team rising and falling throughout, but it's a winner takes all, and it goes down tonight on ESPN. This will be the second Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 between these two teams, and a decade ago, the Heat won Game 7 in Miami. For more, here's Nick Friedel and Tim Bontemps.
The Heat feel like they were built for this moment. They feel like this is what their culture is all about, finding a way to win when the rest of the world thinks they can't. Jimmy Butler has a team full of players that think just like him, that are convinced they can will themselves across the finish line no matter what circumstances they face. That's why Eric Spoelstra's team is brimming with confidence as they prepare for the biggest game of the year. They've always believed they were the most mentally tough team on the block. Now they get another chance to prove it, with Butler coming off one of the best performances of his career. There's no two better words in pro sports than Game 7, Spoelstra said Friday night, especially in the Heat's case, when you have Butler leading the way. Now for more on the Celtics, here's Tim Bontemps.
Nick, when Jayson Tatum was asked about his team's chances of winning Game 7 on the road, he didn't hesitate to answer. Scale of 1 to 10, Tatum asked with a smile. 10. Boston knows it gave away a golden opportunity to wrap this series up in Game 6. But the Celtics already won an elimination game in Milwaukee last round. They've won 2 games in Miami this time around. They believe they can make it a third. We've got to come out, Jaylen Brown.
Okay, that's all that really matters, try to win one game.
Yeah, I think we just did our job. We've been saying it this entire series. It's not finished yet. We got Game 7 at the crib, and we need to win.
Jimmy.
Everybody counted us out. Everybody thought the series was already over, and I mean that's all the motivation we needed.
Yes, they did, and they thought that the Heat were done, Brian Windhorst, because they played the way they did in Games 4 and 5. Now they play this way in Game 6. You saw it with your own eyes. I mean, you never are shocked in sports, I guess, because anything can happen. But you tell me your reaction to the performances you saw, particularly from Butler.
Yeah, it wasn't that the Heat weren't capable. It's just that we didn't think they were healthy enough.
Exactly.
And right out of the gate in the first quarter, before Jimmy Butler was even hitting the three-pointers, he jumped the passing lane and raced to the other end. And it was like that was more quick twitch than we saw at all in Games 4 and 5. And it was like, wow, he definitely feels better. Can this keep up? You know, Kyle Lowry was out here on this court at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock for an 8:30 start, trying to get that hamstring loosened up. They are fighting against a lot of things right now, and they just were able to get a little bit healthier. And they might get even a little bit healthier again for Sunday, because it sounds like Tyler Hero might be getting close to getting back. So, they just made shots. And I will say this, Scott, Erik Spoelstra never wavered. He sounded the same after they lost Game 4. He sounded the same after they lost Game 5. He sounded the same after tonight. He is a rock. He has been that way for a decade, and I think it rubbed off on his team, because I think that his team had a very positive approach to this game.
Yeah, look, I mean, the belief in that room is rooted in what they'd done all year, but I don't think it was unreasonable to doubt it after what we'd seen of late. Having said all that, I don't think that it's reasonable to ask you what you think will happen in Game 7, because how the hell do you know? But I'm going to ask an unreasonable question. What do you think is going to happen in Game 7?
Well, I think the biggest factor is, does Jimmy Butler have another game like this in him? His activity level was dramatically improved. And I'm not saying that the free throws were the definitive thing here. Just look at the free throws. 26 in Games 1 and 2. 6 in Games 3, 4, 5 combined. 11 tonight. That right there is the indication of his ability to react, to get to the basket, to get by people. Can he come back in 48 hours and have a